What's going on, everybody? It's Chasey here, and once again bringing you another video. This time we're going to be talking about morality. I talked about Bruce Jenner already, and with the whole Bruce Jenner concept in mind, we're going to be talking about how this sexual kind of revolution thing that's going on right now, and what it leads to is is detrimental to our society and our country as a whole, and will ultimately bring about its demise if it is allowed to continue. Now, when I talk about these things, or when anybody talks about these things, people are classified as haters, homophobic, because I'll be talking about gay stuff. Everybody's like, when you're attacking a certain ideal, you think that the people that have that ideal are the ones that you're attacking, when in reality that's not how it is at all. Because again, I don't care about you personally, like what you want to do with your life. You can do whatever you want. If you want to if you want to be homosexual, fine. If you want to be straight, fine. My problem is putting people on a pedestal for their willingness to speak out against the norm. Because at this point, if I'm not mistaken, I'm the one that's not the norm anymore, according to the media. People are always saying that, now it's normal to be gay. It's normal for all this, yada, yada, yada. And we're giving so much attention to I'll go high for you, the 3% of people in this country. And we're making it sound like that there are more of them and they are being oppressed more than they really are. And that we should be giving them special treatment. So there's a lot of arguments that I'm going to go over through here. This is going to be a long video, so I'm going to cut it up. And hopefully I will try to keep each segment short enough to be entertaining as well as enlightening. So for this first part of the video series, we're going to be talking about just morality in general. I've had a lot of discussions with a lot of different people, and I want to go to my more in-depth discussions with my friend Stuart, because we are completely opposites in a lot of different aspects. And yet we still get along very well. He's one of my best friends. It would just suck if I didn't have Stuart around. Okay? So when we talk a lot about these types of things, we haven't done it for a while, which is kind of disappointing. But when we are discussing morality, I think that there should be strong morality in a society and in a government. And he thinks that people should be able to do whatever they want because it's their life. Where I agree with him in the sense that people can do whatever they want in a free country, I disagree with the concept that Christian-based moralities are a bad thing. I would flip that around and say that if you want to have a successful society, government, anything, you need it to be based on a firm, solid structure. Christianity is a great concept for that. And not just Christianity, just religion in general, when it has rules set down about morality when it comes to sexuality, which is what we're going to be talking about specifically in this series. When you have sexual morality, everything works better. And I'm going to use an example that I can actually completely 100% know the struggle. Okay, I'm going to be talking about the moral concept of sex outside of marriage being a bad thing. Because whether we like to admit it or not, sex out of marriage is not what you should be doing. Because the only reason, besides the fact that it's awesome, okay, the only reason to have sex is to reproduce. That's the reason. That's why it's a thing. I mean, every animal in the kingdom does it, Everybody has sex. That should be the book. Not everybody poops. Everybody has sex. In reality, whether you like to admit it or not, that is the reason for having sex. And so, having thought of it that way, we can conclude that having sex in an unstable environment is not the way to go. Because when you have a child and you are unable to support it, what happens? Usually you fall into poverty, which leads to government assistance, which leads to dependence, which leads to them having kids because there was no structural moral background in that family, and then they continue the cycle, which is really the key issue when it comes to morality. The cycle will just start going. And when you have kids outside of a stable situation And most kids out of wedlock, I would like to say, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to say the majority of kids outside of wedlock are people that are from people that don't have the ability to support kids. And when I say that, I mean people like my age or younger or maybe even a little bit older that just do it because it's fun, and then they get left in the cold by one person or the other, or their family abandons them or whatever, and then they're stuck with this kid, which kids are expensive. Let me tell you something. Kids cost a lot of money. So I struggle with this, as I know many other people my age do, with the whole not being ready and yet still engaging in that activity. And if we were brought up as a society where that was not acceptable ever, like it used to be when this country was first originated, and how it was for the past, for the first, I don't even know, 200 years, I would say, almost, not quite. Like when we had that sexual revolution in, what was it, the 60s, it changed a lot. When we were still thinking that modesty was key and all that stuff, and sex was bad, you couldn't show like skin in public. I'm not saying I want to go back to that. I'm just saying that we need to change the mindset that sex just whenever you want, with whoever you want, whenever you want, is not okay. And that we need to be sure we're in stable conditions before we are engaging in activities that can lead to possibly children, which just puts a burden on everyone. Now, I'm not saying that kids are burdens, but if you don't have the ability to raise your child properly with good, strong morals so that they can grow up to raise their kids properly, then it's a lost cause. Say whatever you want about religious people that have these morals. They usually have it together. You don't see them in poverty. You don't see them living in the ghetto or on the streets. Unless, of course, they felt they were called to do that by their Heavenly Father. People make fun and rage at politicians that have a lot of money because they're white and religious. Well, don't you think that it's a good model to follow? Somebody that has structure in their life, and who had structure in their parents' lives and their grandparents' lives and their great-grandparents' lives. Don't you think it's a good thing that they are successful and that they hold these morals strongly because it got them to where they are, which is, of course, successful? So it's something that we all struggle with, especially in my generation, something that I myself have struggled with. But when I step back and take a completely objective view over immoral activity in that way, whether you think it's immoral or not, then I realize that when you're doing that type of thing, it's not the best. It's not going to be good for your future in the long run or the short run. It's better to just have a moral base behind you so that you have the ability to move forward with your life and be successful and all of those things. And so I'm going to leave this video off here. We'll be talking about homosexuality and other things in the next couple of videos. I hope you guys will stick around for those. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. I know my setup's a little weird right now, and I got shadows going everywhere, and it's just a mess. But we're going to try to figure it out as best we can. I hope you guys will enjoy this video. Leave a like, share it with your friends, and we'll be continuing this series on today probably. I'll keep recording right now. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Just have a nice day.